welcome back. This is probably my most requested tutorial, and as you can see from the title, that is how to cover your eyebrows. Brow blocking is a technique that drag queens have been using for forever so that they can keep their natural brows but draw on higher, thinner, more feminine brows. But it's also a really cool way to just experiment with different brow styles or see what you look like without brows at all without having to commit to shaving your brows off. So what you're gonna need is a glue stick. I use the purple Elmer's glue, a spoolie, makeup wipes, and a lot of determination. So let's just jump right into it. So I'm gonna take my Elmer's glue stick and I'm gonna really work it into my brows. So what I'm gonna do is go against the grain, with the grain, up, down, just really working it in as much as I possibly can. As you can see, I have really thick, dark brows, so I really want to make sure that every hair is really coated in glue. I also like to really make sure I get a lot of product for my initial layer, so that way I don't have to do as much work in the rest of the layers. Now that I feel like I have a good amount of product in there, I'm just gonna take my spoolie and really brush those hairs upward. I like to kind of roll the spoolie as I go up, because you really want to force those hairs to go straight up. After I brush them into place, I'm gonna go back in with the glue and just reinforce that upwards motion. Now it starts to get kind of tacky and starts drying out, so I just lick it just to dampen it. I mean, you could use water, but I just lick it. I got that tip from Trixie Mattel, and this is non-toxic, so you'll be good. Tastes a little funny though. Like, just keeping some moisture in it helps it to apply a lot better and smoother. Now I'm going to take my finger and just really press it up. You just want to smooth out all that glue. Go back in through too a little bit. Alright, now just repeat the same exact thing on the other side. Take my makeup wipe and just clean off any excess glue. I like to go in an upwards motion with that as well, at least on the tops, so that way if there's still a little bit of extra glue left, it kind of blends into the skin a little bit better, rather than having a really sharp line of demarcation. Want to make sure every layer is completely dry before you start a new one. So to save some time, I'm going to be using a blow dryer and use it on the cool setting. Let it dry a little bit faster. Alright, layer 2. So from from here on out, you're just going to take the glue and keep going in that upwards motion. And I really kind of like take it and press it as I go up. This is gonna sound kind of weird, but you can tell what areas need a little bit more glue because you'll hear this slight like crispy, like kind of crunchy sound. It's kind of hard to describe, but you'll hear a little bit of something in certain areas, and that's how you know where you need to apply more glue. Layer 3. I like to do 3.5 layers, and you'll see what I mean by that in a little bit. But just like layer 2, just go upwards. Also for this layer, I like to kind of just take my nail and scrape a little bit of it off and kind of spackle it. And then after I just apply it like that, I just kind of press it in with the rest of the glue stick. It just adds a little bit more coverage and smoothness. Another little thing I like to do is just kind of, when I look in the mirror, just turn my head to the side just so I can see exactly how flat it is. So if I still see it lifted up or some hairs that are still kind of poking out, then I'll just go right on top of them. But it just makes it a little bit easier to see exactly how flat you got your brows down. So here's where the half layer comes in. I'm just gonna go in and kind of, I'm not gonna apply as much glue, and I'm not gonna like really press it in. I'm just kind of dabbing a little bit extra. I'm using a little less pressure than I did in the previous layers. And instead of letting that layer dry completely down, I'm just gonna go in with a powder puff, loaded with powder, and press that right into my brows. I like to powder my brows while they're still tacky just because they're so dark that it kind of helps block the color out before I put on any foundation or concealer. Putting the powder on is also kind of the moment of truth to see how flat you got it. So I still have some texture raised up over here towards the ends, but that's kind of normal for me. But everything else is pretty smooth, so I'm happy with it. Now I'm just going to apply my foundation and then do the finishing touches on the coverage. usually when you're color correcting darker areas, you want to use an orange concealer to kind of cancel out the blue tones that darker areas have. But instead of doing that, I like to use a very warm skin tone color, so I'm using MAC Studio Water Weight Concealer in NW45. But I'm just going to apply it right on top of my brows. Just taking my beauty blender, I'm gonna blend that out. I'm just gonna lightly dust a little bit of powder over it just to ensure that it stays in place when I put my foundation on. To go over my brows with my foundation, I just pick up the product with my beauty blender and dab it right on top. And that's it. That's how I cover my brows. I know I look crazy right now, but I will be finishing off this look in a separate tutorial, so keep on the lookout for that. Just so you guys know, it is not very easy to cover your brows, and it took me a while just to get to this point, and I feel like I could still do a better job at it. But yeah, don't stress, don't fret, just keep working at it, keep practicing, find a method that's right for you, and you guys will get it in no time. See you guys in my next video and on Instagram, which is going to now. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.